declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election.
Fortunately, we don't reason like that. Anybody thinking that Igbo presidency 2023 will stop us? What we want is Biafra, and what we're going to get is Biafra.
No, not at all. What should I do? There's what we expect to happen. But I want our people to be very calm. I want Biafra land to be calm, and peaceful. Calm and very, very peaceful. We are fighting to defend our people. Not to kill them. Yes. We are fighting to defend them. That's why I'm here. Yes. And we'll continue to do so.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Biafrans. Hello, lovers of freedom. Hello, wherever you're found, all over the nations of the world. I greet you this day. And today is a special day that the Lord has made, that we should be together and also continue the chase and the fight unto our freedom. Thank you so much for joining wherever you are. I want to appreciate you, and I want to say welcome to this live broadcast today, Thursday, 3rd of November 2022. Sorry, I'm just getting to be in a hurry. I want to get into Biafra very quickly. So today is the Thursday, 3rd of November 2022, and this is the Recreating Biafra program. And in this program, we're going to be touching so many vital things that concerns us as a people. I want to tell you that you are in for something very, very, very special today. In fact, it will blow your mind, because this is one of the basic things that we actually need to know and actually need to treat in our chase, and in our pursuit of freedom. And fundamentally, the issue of the mind have been very, very vital in this cause of freedom. And that is why we are here today, Thursday, Recreating Biafra, where we want to look at our talents, our gifting, and everything that concerns us, how we are packed from heaven, how we have been, the loads of, mission, vision, and everything that God has given to us, our aptitudes that God has given to us to use as a means of bringing down His will, His kingdom here on earth. And that is manifesting Biafra and making sure that we actually do the right thing. Thank you, Kajethan and Catherine. Oh, Catherine, thank you. Welcome. And brother watching. Thank you so much. You're the first person to comment today, and I give you the flower too. Thank you so much for being here and being the first person. Thank you so much. We have our guest, our special guest, who has always, made out his time and make sure that he impacts us as a people, especially every young Biafran out there, including the children, the one that are growing. We are trying to impact and do the real thing that we need to do, so that when we get our nation, we're not going to be struggling with information, but we will have everything it takes to actually change the situation and the narrative. And I want to tell you that he is already in the studio. He has been in the studio even before the time and all of that, and he's ever ready to pour out what the loads of things he has in his mind and what God and Chukwu Okike has given to him to actually impact Biafrans with. And I tell you, it's going to be very explosive today. You can't just beat it. You can't just beat it. All you need to do now is, Nicholas Uzama, welcome. Uzamaka, sorry. Nicholas Uzamaka, welcome. Good afternoon, Mazi. Thank you so much. I greet you also. And I greet everyone who is watching all over the world, wherever you are. And I want to thank you for joining. Please, as much as you are here, share this video right now. Just like the video. as soon as you come on, please like the video and then share on all your social media platforms so that the people will begin to get notification that something is about to happen today. And they are good. You see, there's no limit to what you can do, especially when you give people access to information that can change their lives. The only way we can change Biafra is to make sure that everyone has access to the information we have. And this information will educate and transform lives. And what we are doing is that we are recreating a kind of mindset that will help us build our nation. You know, that is why today is the Recreating Biafra Day, because every Thursday we have that segment, Recreating Biafra, where we look at our talents, our gifting, everything that concerns us. And then we look at, of course, you know, intertwining these things with what we are, our personality and all of that, so that we can have a great nation. Thank you all for coming, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my people, good people of Biafra, I bring to you our special guest. Even if he's in activity, yet he has chosen to be here. Good to welcome Prince Ezem Ihanacho. You're welcome, sir. Please say hi to our friends. Thank you so much for joining, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelechi. Thank you, my fellow Biafrans. I want to thank God Almighty for yet another day that He has made us partakers of for a purpose. So I just want to cover everyone with the special grace of God, which is upon this earth right now. As a great farmer, God has come to dwell in the world He created, and He is working and doing His work. When you look in the farm, for those who have spiritual discernment, a farmer goes into the farm when there is so much bushes and all the rest, and they will start clearing. He will start doing his work in preparation to plant new crops. So don't be afraid. What you're seeing is God in action as the great farmer, the owner of the farm called the world. He's at work, he's clearing, he's getting ready to plant new crops. And those with discernment, those with discerning spirit will understand this and know that they should transform themselves into the good crops that our God will use to plant new crops and bring new harvest into the world. That is just what it's about. So don't be troubled by all the chaos of this world. Invite your friends, come here and get that knowledge, because this is critical. I thank you very much, Kelechi.
Thank you, sir, for that introduction and that special advice to the people. And Mazi, Afre Emmanuel is here. Thank you for greeting our guest and also greeting Biafrans and greeting me too. Louis Peters watching all the way from Istanbul, Turkey. Thank you for sending your message. You said keep the fire burning. Margaret Jogwe all the way from Germany. She's here. Thank you so much for being here. All over the world, we have our people. Kennedy Obilo watching from all the way from Edo State, Ibilo, Osongland. Is it Asongland or Ison? Isong. Is it Isong or Asong? Please make me, because I know Ishan is supposed to be Isong. That's what they say it is. So thank you all for joining, and everyone who has not sent a message, but you are here, I thank you all for joining. It's going to be a great time today, and we're going to actually be touching so many things. But before we go on, before I set the pace so that our guests can come in, I want to give us some, the updates of what is happening in the world today. Of course, that's our tradition. We try to update you on what is happening in the world. Today, North Korea, is firing missile towards Japan. They are fired towards South Korea. Now they are firing towards Japan. And so, we are still looking at the world and looking at the things that are going on, because we know that these things are very crucial to our existence and as a globe where we are all living in. And of course, let's hope that better things will come and things will keep being settled in the world. But for now, we have the news that they are firing missiles to Japan, and Japan is telling their citizens to actually go into shelters and all of that. So many things happening, and we look up to getting more details of those facts. And today, of course, we hear that the Tigray People's Liberation Front, in Ethiopia, have gone into agreement. That's the TPLF. They have gone into agreement, is to for ceasefire and all of that to allow. And but the interesting thing here is that this is brokered by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, but the zoo is still where it is. But they could go as far as Ethiopia to go and broker deals and to stop the killings and all of that. Well, let's keep watching. All we want is peace in Africa, and because we want Africa to be liberated. So we thank God for that, deal, and we hope that it will be sustained. The initial one that was done in August was broken again. They started fighting and killing, but today, as at yesterday, the deal was brokered, and of course, we hope that it's going to actually be, for the best. And of course, we know that Israel, the counting of the votes will end today, and hopefully, Bibi, as he's called. Netanyahu will be the next leader of the Israeli nation, and the former prime minister, and he's going to be the leader of the Israeli nation. It's great to know, and let's hope that his coming also will portend great things for Biafra, and Biafra will also benefit from all of those details. And of course, we know that there are so many things happening. Well, as I just mentioned the very important ones now. For now, I just have to give them to you. And I want to welcome everyone who is here. I have many messages coming in. I think they're greeting our guests. Let me kind of post the messages so that our guests also can see them, one after the other. We have Lolo, the lady, the greetings, Mazi, God is your strength. And they will thank you. They are here. They are all coming and greeting. Good day to Mazi Prince. Okay. Talking to you, Margarete Jogwe from Germany says, Mazi Prince, good day, happy to be with us. She's always excited having to see you here. Yes, Margaret Jogwe is always excited in that regard. And we have Nemeka, great work you guys are doing. Keep the fire burning. Biafra is our last hope. I'm watching from UAE. Thank you for joining all the way from UAE. Thank you. Mrs. Moran Haynes is here. Mazi Kelechi, good afternoon. Of course, yes, and she also sends her greeting to good afternoon, Biafrans. May God be with you. She also sends her greetings to you, sir. She says, good afternoon, His Excellency. So she's sending her greetings there. And then we have good afternoon, Biafrans, Mrs. Moran Haynes. And then we have another greeting from here, Mazi Austin. Mazi Okonkwo is here already. Mazi Kila, I salute you. Please extend my greetings to my elder brother and uncle. I love him so much for standing for truth without fear. That is from Mazi Okonkwo, also one of the comrades that we have in the media scene and all of that. So great people, and they are happy and everybody's excited. Today is going to be explosive because what you're going to hear today will blow your mind. We are concerned about how your mind works. Today, we're going to be looking at how the mind works. Let me set the template. Now, you know that sometimes we have many Biafra. So the problem here is that because of the situation, of course, Catherine is here. I love hearing this brother talk. Okay, Catherine says she loves hearing you talk. So you're going to hear more things today that will blow your mind today. It's going to be wonderful because we have something very unique today. Now, every Biafran know this. We are divided in two camps because of the situation that we have found ourselves in the zoo, Nigeria. We have those who are abroad, either they are in exile or they traveled just to look for better things to do and to also to gain more information and knowledge on how they can come back to Biafra land and change things. And we have those who are in Biafra land, and of course these two camps now, and we have in the midst of this, we have those in Biafra land who feel threatened about those who are abroad, who just hate anything and everybody from abroad because they just feel that they just hate their guts. They hate their guts. They are too proud. They feel they are too proud. They are too this. They feel they know everything and all of that. Some people have this self-esteem, this low self-esteem in Biafra land, who are actually just fighting nothing. Because they just feel that they begin to see some other people better than them because they traveled abroad. We have some of those people also who are abroad, who are looking down on those at home, and they feel that those ones at home don't have anything to offer. We also have those who are abroad who are thinking of the best for those who are at home and who believe in the strength and the ability and in the strength and in the tenacity and in the aptitude of those at home. And of course, my guest is one of those who believes in everyone in Biafra land. So that is why he's here to talk to us today. He's going to be talking, and he's going to be, mediating between the two camps. He's going to talk about the two camps. He's going to talk about those in Biafra land who are feeling low, those in Biafra land who feel and respect those abroad, those in Biafra land who see those abroad as partners, and those in abroad, those in Biafra land who see those abroad as partners, those in Biafra land who see those abroad as enemies, those in Biafra land who's various kinds of mindset. We want to create a a kind of situation where we're going to begin to heal the minds of the people based on all of these. Amaoku, welcome. You're welcome. We see you. Eze, also, you're welcome. And welcome, my camera collection. Welcome, Uncle Ihacho. I cannot wait to hear the gospel of redemption, hope, and freedom. Yes, so yes, you're going to hear it. We're going to be entering. I'm going to be calling him in very soon. I just set the template so that every one of us can understand what he's going to be talking about today. Kelechi, I'm always happy to be with you guys. Watching from New York City. Our Prince, we are happy to have you as one of our own autopilot. We're Madu. Yes, of course, we have people. And of course, John Almeida say good afternoon, everyone. I'm lucky to hear from the Prince the first time I came to your channel. Yeah, that's good. And you're going to be hearing him today. Now, let's go straight to business. Sir, we have the situation. We have the two camps. Those in Biafra land, those abroad. Why we have this so much variety and disparity, between these two camps is based on the situation we have experienced in Nigeria. Please, can you say something about the two camps briefly?
First of all, thank you for laying the foundation in your questioning. I also want to lay the foundation in my answers because that's just how it is. I want to thank all the viewers, and I am humbled for all your compliments. And I give all glory to God, because it is God that has taken his position as the creator of this earth. I describe God as the good farmer who is now doing the work, clearing the fields of this earth, and about to lay a new crop or new crops. And in those new crops are Biafrans. And we need to understand this. It's metaphoric, it's spiritual. You've got to have a discerning spirit to understand it. I want to, first of all, make sure everybody understands that what we are doing as genuine Biafrans is not just for our own good. No. We're actually fighting for humanity. People don't know this, but it's important we get to know it. We are actually fighting for the freedom of Fulani. We're actually fighting for the freedom of Britain, for the freedom of the entire Europe. Because I'm telling you, when I take my time to break things down, you will find out how sick these people are, how confused and how derailed they are. And I'm not joking, I'm being very honest. I just wanted to make sure everybody appreciates this fact before now I come into and look into the issues our brother Kelechi has just raised, which is very, very, very interesting and something I understand very well. Remember, I've always said, everything starts from the mind, psychology, what is in your head. He laid a very perfect picture. Very perfect picture. And everybody who is a human being understands this picture. There are these two camps in existence. We all understand it. And all of them are faulty. The two camps are faulty. Let's not think it is all this. The two camps are faulty, and they are faulty based on the fact that it's still to do with the mind. We were all badly orientated. On one hand, we were all coming from this same pot called Nigeria, which we all subscribe to at some stage. We were all eating from that same pot. We had our views on those we felt Europeans that knew best. We had our envy for those who escaped and joined the Europeans. We continued to worship the Europeans and enjoy everything they are bringing, but then had envy for those of us that escaped and went to Europe. Those of us that escaped to for Europe, America, some of us believe that those we left behind have become our footmats. We can see all this. If those at home had any anger for what Europeans did, that anger is only transmitted to those they believed had escaped from Nigeria. But they continued to worship the Europeans that brought the darkness.
Yes.
So you can see the whole madness. And those that escaped forgot that those that they are looking down on are their own people. They were in the same boat before. And of course, some of us that came abroad began to act what we are not. And I wouldn't even want to relate anymore. And of course, economic situation now made it worse in the place called Nigeria, that in those days, you came from abroad and you wanted to see everybody. You wanted to visit everybody. For example, when I was in Nigeria, when I lived there permanently, I always looked forward to welcoming my uncles that were abroad. I didn't expect anything from them. I just wished to see them. That's all. Okay, and I was fulfilled when I saw them, and I never expected anything. And I'm being very honest. And but the whole thing changed. That you might even upset people now if you returned home and just went to see them, just to see them. You will really aggravate them. In fact, you will aggravate them if what you are even giving to them is not what they are expecting to get.
That's right.
So the whole thing has just turned so I couldn't even describe it, no matter how I tried. Now, but I think it's important we appreciate all these and understand what is happening in the mind. It's a huge subject, but let us deal with it, because if we do not deal with this, in fact, earlier when I was talking to you, Kelechi, I made you aware that what you're doing here is one of the most critical things that we must do if we really would do a good job in Biafra. What you're doing is foundational, and we don't mess about with foundation. Without what you're doing, Biafra could come and everybody will eat up the rest. We will just eat ourselves up. So we need to sanitize the mind a bit in order to do the needful. And I thank God for the crop of people that we have in this autopilot that are very fast in understanding the mode of operation in Biafra. I give God glory for that. But the wider society of Biafra really needed to get to know these things that we're talking about.
Yes.
Now, I need us to all pause and remember one thing I said. I think it was in our last conversation when you played the video of
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Where he said things like that he was in the midst of some people who were more qualified,
yes,
and more this and that than him. He was just trying to express how privileged he was to be in their midst and the much he learned. And I told you that statement, even though it appeared humble and plausible, that statement has nothing to do with humanity. That statement is dangerous. And that is actually one of the core things that have destroyed Africans. And that's why I told you Biafra is critical. Because I can tell you, a true Biafran would never speak like that. In the scheme of things in this world, in fact, that propelled me to write something which I'm going to post so people can begin to understand. I want people to know that what Nelson Mandela should have said was that he learned so much that day, and he believed that hopefully that those people learned also so much from him. Because it doesn't matter whether you are the one making mobile phones or you're the one building a basket. It is important everybody understands that even identical twin, identical physically twin, God put something unique in them, and all of them are of equal value. Forget about how we human beings interpret them and then decide to value more than the other. This is why I have developed what I call the five-finger theory, because when you see, we are dismantling all the narratives that destroyed the human psyche, and we are replacing them with proper and adequate human-friendly, human-compatible narratives, theories that will propel humanity to the height God has created us to be. You see, even using that five-finger theory, you would find that there is a reason why each finger is of a different size. And it doesn't matter whether they are big or small. They will remain equally fingers because each has a unique role to play. And none can take the position of the other. They are there to complement one another to ensure that the job of the hand in service to the body is done and complete. And it doesn't matter how big or small a finger is. Once it is damaged, the overall efficiency of the hand will diminish, and the others that are remaining will overcompensate. You see, Biafra is coming to show something very unique. We will get to a stage where everybody will take pride in who they are and understand that all they need to do in life is to, first of all, discover and then harness, develop, and maximize their unique gift in life. The problem, let me give you the overall problem why you have these discrepancies, these problems. Let me tell you what it is. And it originates from the system called Nigeria. Every ill you see happening, all of these infightings and all of this madness is coming from the project Nigeria. Because there is something called lack of contentment. Please write this down, it's very critical. There is something called lack of contentment. Lack of contentment is a byproduct of not understanding, not identifying, not developing, not using your true calling in life. Lack of contentment stems from not finding your calling on earth, because God gave each of us a calling. Nigeria is the worst place on earth because it ensures that no baby born will ever identify their true calling on earth. You have to identify it even by mistake, by accident. Nigeria, as a soil, had been so damaged that any crop planted in it will not yield its true qualities. It's important we understand this. So I am telling you that the principle problem in all that we've identified as our issues is lack of contentment, which is a byproduct of not identifying your true calling on earth. And once you do not understand your true calling on earth and develop lack of contentment, what we call envy and jealousy automatically kicks in. It's automatic. Because at that point now you want to be somebody else. At that point now you just want to be somebody else. Because what you are is lack of contentment. You don't even know who you are. You are taking pride in nothing about yourself. So all you want to do is to become somebody else, and you begin to envy those that you would have liked to become. And the lack of contentment will also do a reversal effect on you, because you don't know who you are. Now you're looking down on other people. Those who are answering their true call on earth have no time to envy anybody or demean anyone, because they understand how it works. They understand that everybody is useful to the equation. When people look down on others, they are not actually answering their true call on earth. When people are looking up to other people and they want to be like them, it is also because they are not answering their true call on earth. When you start answering your true call on earth, you'll be so busy. You won't have time. Yeah, you won't have time to envy somebody else. You won't have time to want to be someone else. You won't have time to demean another person, because you know your calling and you know someone else is answering their own true calling. We have a lot to teach Europeans, Americans, Chinese, let alone ourselves. And that's why we can't wait for Biafra to come, so we can introduce a new academic curriculum based on truth and relativity. Because then our children will no longer go into school to study parts of an ant. An ant they will never eat, an ant they will never operate upon. Our children will no longer go into school to study and learn rubbish things like how human beings discovered the sky and discovered the tree and discovered fellow human beings and discovered the river. All those nonsense, we will flush them out. If something is not based on the truth, we won't introduce it, we won't accept it. And if whatever we are teaching is not relative to our environment, where we can use it and harness what God has put in each of us, we will discard it. It has no meaning to us. And we will inspire the world to see a new way of living. Because suddenly the world will start seeing things that they have never seen since the creation of this earth. That is why when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tells you that Biafra is the last miracle waiting to happen, because it is going to announce the kingdom of God on earth. And don't be surprised about that, because it's a fact. And you can now understand why all the demons of this earth in many forms are kicking against it. They are fighting tooth and nail. In fact, they are happy to put the whole world on fire, because the darkness in this world, the evil people in this world, the demons, are so irritated, and they are using everything, including your girlfriend you're living with. They are using everything to disrupt it. But you know what? They are too late, because God has ordained the Biafra to come. All those prayers we've been saying, especially our Lord's Prayer, where it says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Those prayers were not in vain. Christ saw something. Christ knew something. And that's why he said we should be saying that prayer. That's why he taught us that prayer. Whether you said it and you meant it, or you said it and you didn't mean it, that prayer continued to ring a bell. It is that kingdom of God on earth that is being announced through Biafra. And we need to all wake up to it, remembering that what we are bringing is not just for our own sake. It's for the sake of Fulani. It's for the sake of Britain. It's for the sake of the entire world. So we need to see through this so that we can hold our grounds. And we shouldn't be begging anybody for it, because God has already ordained it. All we now need to do is to do the needful, because God must walk through us to achieve it. The spirit cannot perform physical things on this earth on their own. They wait for our human body to authorize their entry so they can go and do the needful. That is how it works. So we have to stand ready to be used. We have to sanitize ourselves and move forward in faith and grab this for the introduction of the kingdom of God on earth, so that the light from the rising sun will now illuminate the globe. It's going to illuminate the globe, not what you're seeing. People don't even know what Biafra means. If you understand what Biafra means, you're not going to be playing with it. You're not going to be, you wouldn't want to hear rubbish. You know why it is important and why you must give it your all. So I don't know whether I've managed to answer and given you the reasons.
Very well. In fact, so many questions, and I'm even prompted out of that particular what you have said, and you know that the issue, this disparity and this acrimony has eaten deep into the fabric of the mindset of an average Biafran, be it those ones abroad, be it those ones at home. It has eaten deep into the fabric because it became a norm based on the fact that those at home are living in a society that doesn't afford them the opportunity to have what those abroad are now enjoying. But I'm going to play a particular video that is actually going to, because I want to use this video to bring out something from the mindset, about how the mind works. Okay, please.
But please, before you play that video, you made a specific statement about how this has eaten into our people. Don't forget, I've been talking a lot about conditioning of the mind.
Very well.
And why it is an evil act. The human mind is not meant to be conditioned. We are asked to give our children the best we have and allow them to develop their unique essence based on what we have given them.
Not to condition them.
Yeah, we're not to condition them, because they're not supposed to be you. They're not supposed to be you. The problem is that people went about trying to condition others so that they can reason like them and be like them and take everything they say to be the gospel truth. But we know that what God gifted man is autonomy and free thinking and rational reasoning ability. That when you condition the mind of a human being, you are actually committing a sin. The mind of mortal beings are not meant to be conditioned. You give out information as truthful and as honest as possible. You guide people the much you can, but you must allow them to be able to introduce their unique essence. Otherwise, you are trying to force two fingers to become one and then disrupt the equation and damage humanity, because that's what you're doing when you try to condition people. Now, I wanted to make sure I didn't lose this point before you went on to the other things, that the criminal act of Europeans against Biafrans, against Africans, is that madness of trying to condition the minds of Africans And if you understand conditioning and how bad it is, especially when people grow into it and become adults, you see, I always like to look at liquids and solids. When you are an adult, you have gone into solid, and you know how hard it is to break anything that is in solid form. Can you see why I told you that my initial work, which I will do in Biafra land, free of charge, will target kindergarten and primary schools? Can you see why?
Very well.
Because I know what conditioning can do to the human psyche. And I know how far those who are adults have gone in this conditioning madness. But as far as we remain mortal beings, hope is not lost, because we carry cognition, the thought process. And if we feed if we feed that cognition, that's the thought process, very well, even adults might change, can change. And if we bring in laws, and if we bring in constitutions that will now force and build institutions that will now force even adults to change, they will have no choice but to change. So there is still hope in the horizon, and I'm not sure whether somehow I'm now answering the question.
Very well. You're answering it very, very, very well. Very, very well. And again,
so I wanted to make sure that you appreciate that it was conditioning. It was conditioning that caused what you were talking about. Yes. Conditioning of the mind, which is actually a sin, and it's actually criminal. You can't condition mortal beings. So proceed. Sorry.
So which means that we can now say that the reason why most people travel abroad, because I want to look at those who are abroad now before we come to those at home. Now, which means now that to say that before I play, I will just say this before I play that video, which means that the people at abroad now actually had their mind conditioned in a way that they saw the Westerners as superior. And so when they traveled abroad, they now felt on top of the world and began to look down on those at home. I just want you to hold your thoughts there so that I can bring up this video. And then as soon as I play it, and then you can say more on this particular point, and all of that. So let me bring it up.
People are saying that celebrating or minimizing the death of the Queen is insensitive. That may be true, but in my view, it's even more insensitive to saturate our media with celebratory posts about a person who, for many people, is a symbol of genocide, colonization, and all the violent institutions that came with it. She was queen when Britain helped lead the war that destroyed my country, and just this year she gave a knighthood to one of the main
Now, this is a particular lady whose mind has been, redesigned to believe in her own system than to allow the influence that actually had a grip on her country to overwhelm her. That means they have actually succeeded in putting or, burying in the minds of the people their belief and restore their self-esteem to what they know about themselves, and having their minds to come back to home and accept home as best rather than what is out there. Now, there's another video I'm going to play, but I want you to react to these facts, before I come with the next video. Now, here we have the situation. Now, we have a lady here now who has come to recognize that in spite of the fact that these people, they were under a colonial system that actually destroyed how they reason, how they operate, what they believe in, and what they could hold on as true about themselves. She's able now to say of a truth that, using the issue of the Queen now and the death of the Queen and all of that, she gave a very strong position of how they now think like a people, or as a people who have come to understand their position. Now we have in Biafra people who actually also were tutored under this colonial situation, and some of them found a way of escape abroad. And because of the mindset saying that these people they seem to look at it as if these people are more, powerful, more intellectually sound, and more everything, they are better than them, and they now travel abroad. They get abroad, and they feel now they have attained the status of those people who are there, or they have come to the position to be or to feel belonged, amongst them. And now they look down on those ones at home. What do you have to say about that?
You see, when we were told that Christ gave sight to the blind, we thought it was only physical. We thought it was only academic. We didn't know that that actually has metaphoric connotations. Do you know what it took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu before he was able to wake up and open the eyes of those who were either blind or were deeply asleep? Even some Hausas to know that Fulani have been stealing from them, and have actually, if we call it wayo, we came and finished them off. Do you know how long it took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to do that? Do you know what he suffered even to get at that point, where people kept castigating him, saying he was talking rubbish, he was so this and that? It took so long. So, you see, that's why I love the truth. The truth is, no matter how you try to bury it, it's going to germinate. No matter how deep you bury the truth, it must germinate, it must come out, and it will bear more fruits. That lady you heard speaking, I can assure you, perhaps, you see, some of us were a bit lucky, okay? Even though we came from that system. My parents were teachers. So, perhaps also it's to do with your unique talent. God give us these gifts differently. Because even when I was very young, I began to ask my father particularly questions that he found very worrying, based on some of the things he was saying then and teaching then. He was shocked. Even some of the things that my older siblings couldn't ask him. It could well be to do with unique talents God had given each of us for a specific purpose. It could be for the purpose of what is upon us now, that God may have created me in the way he created me. But going back to this lady, if you search her background now, there's a lot going on there that she was able to, for her eyes to have been opened. Something had happened. Because remember, the intention of the British, the intention of Europe, simply were to condition the minds of Africans, and they did it perfectly. I'll say, unfortunately, they managed it. Remember, when I talk about the worst crime is to condition the mind of people, it is also the worst sin for any human being to allow their minds to be conditioned. So when we're talking about this thing being negative, it's on both sides. It takes a lot to get to a position where the blind could receive their sight. It takes a lot to wake up somebody who is in deep sleep. Even when you wake them up, they are still doing like this. It takes a lot to bring them to now see what you're seeing. I've once described the world and our living on earth as climbing the tree. Everybody is about to climb this huge tree. There will never be a time when everybody is at the same stage. Some are looking to get to the tree to lay their hands on it and begin the journey of climbing. Some are at the midpoint of the tree. Some are at the top, at the apex of the tree. You see, what then happens is when those who are at the apex of the tree are screaming because of what they can see, because of their reach, the ones at the bottom trying to climb will be saying, what the hell is this man screaming about? What is she talking about? What nonsense? Because they can't relate to what the man at the top is seeing. It takes a lot to bring that one that is down to get to the apex so they can have the same view. At times, what is required is for the one that is at the apex to make sure that before they get to the apex, they are carrying a mirror. So that when they get to the apex, they can use the mirror to reflect on those who are down to see what they are seeing so that they can share in the screaming. Because you see, when you get to see what Mazin Nandekan was screaming about, or you understand it, you might even scream more than Mazin Nandekan was screaming. That's a fact. So, you see, that lady now talking about the queen had gone through a process whereby her eyes opened. And this process will gradually get everybody. Everybody is going to get to this process at one stage. As far as you continue to be alive, you're going to get there. Don't forget this. Sorry?
Is it contagious?
Oh yeah, it's not just contagious. It's just that whenever it is your turn to ripe, you would get ripened. Don't forget, I've always told you that, you know, we are all like fruits at the top of the tree. And we can't all be expected to ripe all at the same time. You get my point?
Very well.
There's never a time the mangoes the mango fruits on top of that tree will all ripe at the same time. You go there, all of them are ripe. It's impossible. So it's one after the other. It takes, some might not even ripe at all. But it's not something that happens automatic, that everybody gets ripe at the same time. But the good thing is that the sunlight will keep blazing on that tree, the wind, the air, and that tree will continue to feed from the root. Okay, so the natural sequence will keep taking place. Let me be very frank with you. If every Biafran understands what the true position of things in this world, they will immediately become like me. Let me tell you where I am right now. From the much God has revealed to me, from the much I have studied, I've been around for some time. I've lived in Europe close to 30 years. Lived in America close to 5 years. I lived in Nigeria. That's where I had my foundation. I saw for many years. So I wouldn't ever say I've seen it all, because I haven't. There's still more to be seen or more to see. But if you come close to what I see and what I know, let me tell you how you're going to be viewing the world. You will feel sorry for the Queen of England. You feel sorry for the Pope. You feel sorry for Archbishop of Canterbury. You start feeling sorry for all these people that claim to be civilized, righteous, academically educated with academic knowledge. Those who claim to be diplomats. You feel sorry for those who say they are statesmen and stateswomen. You start feeling sorry for those who say they are opinion leaders of this earth. I'm quite sure that you've heard me say that psychiatry, as far as I know, and I worked in psychiatry, so I'm not telling you fibs. I'm quite sure you've heard me say that from all my evaluations of psychiatry, psychiatry is actually a fraud against the weak, against the poor, and against the vulnerable. Psychiatry is a fraud because it failed to provide for those who needed psychiatry most. And those who needed psychiatry most are the people I have mentioned.
Very well.
And I'm not joking when I say it. It's not an insult. It's just a fact I couldn't hide. Because let me be very frank. What is propelling the activities of these people is simply this notion that mortal beings, human beings, are basically animals. That is what propels the activities of these people I've mentioned. And that is also propelling the activities of most Africans. In fact, if not all Africans, in some way, shape, or form. Because let me be very frank with you. All the madness of this world is coming from those who either believe or accept that they are either primates to apes, basically animals or higher animals. Every madness you see going on in this world, and I'm not joking, both those who demean others as nothing and those who think others are more important than them, they are coming from this framework of either just the fact that they believe they are basically animals. And I am not joking. You've heard me say and beg and plead with those who believe or accept that they're animals. I've been pleading and asking them to please, 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 from today, start behaving like basic animals so that humanity can be safe and secure. That is my plea to them. If only these people will stop behaving worse than animals and behave like basic animal they say they are, they accept they are. If only they can do us that favor. Honestly speaking, we won't even be here talking about the problems of Biafra, problems of humanity. Because let me tell you what will happen. Just like you rightly once said, they will all become predictable. If they start behaving, if they choose now to go into the wild or turn themselves into domesticated animals, automatically they will become predictable. They will no longer be able to plan evil, execute evil, plan evil in advance. They will no longer be able to poison food, poison the air, poison. They will no longer be able to deploy and use weapons. They will no longer be able to cultivate, reproduce, and put poison in foods. They would wait on us, the human beings, to dictate what happens to them. They can't come to our doors or go around waiting for somebody to shoot or somebody to behead or somebody to occupy their land. If only they can start acting exactly like animals they claim to be. Why are they claiming to be animals and they are acting worse than animals? Why are they sub-animal in behavior? Why? Don't forget, they are these people that are telling you that they are righteous. So they are these people that are telling you that they are civilized. So they are the ones doing all this madness. So all I'm saying is, By the time we all get to the truth, all we will have for these people is pity. And then we're going to look out for ways to treat their mental disorder, because they are not well. This is sickness. How can somebody who was just a mere byproduct of two people's sexual activity, and it was through that process they got to know that the world existed, how can somebody who never brought a pin, a sand, who came into this world totally empty-handed, totally naked, how can somebody who had to depend on others totally for their survival suddenly start believing that they own themselves, they own other people, they are in charge of the world, it is all about them? And in the end, they are killing and they are destroying the world for things they cannot take out of this world. How can you believe that somebody like that is sane? This is madness. Absolute madness. So by the time we capture the truth, by the time we see through all this nonsense, we will have great pity on these people. Trust me. Trust me. And that is why Biafra is coming, to introduce truth, to this world and do the needful, so that human beings can see the beauty in humanity. I've also once told you and asked you, looking at the much humanity had achieved based on lies, because what propelled some of the things you're seeing in this world is simply lies. Okay? Now you can imagine what the truth will bring. You can begin to imagine what will happen to humanity when our activities and our achievements are all based on truth. You can begin to even marvel at it. Trust me.
Wow. Dear friends, if you are out there and you have a question to ask, or you have something you want to say, or you have something on your mind, you can just post a message, send a message of your question. Our guest is going to answer, because we're looking critically at the issues that have created disparity between the camp that is in Biafra land, the camp abroad. And now we're trying to also analyze these things in the light of restoring and getting ourselves back on track, so that we can collectively work together and see how we can restore our nation. When Biafra comes, we are not going to get into confusion. And it is very, very important we do that now, so that we can set most of the betrayal you see today and all of that are because most of our people have been mentally abused, degraded, subdued, subjugated, destroyed, possessed, oppressed, and everything you can think negative in their minds.
Conditioned badly
in their minds. All right, so you can send your questions, or you can call the numbers just like you see it on the screen. I'm on the screen. You can call the number. I think the number is on the screen. So you can call the number, ask any question you want to ask, or whatever you want to say to our guests. Now,
and I have another 20 minutes to go.
Okay. I want to ask this question. Biafrans in Biafra land and their perspective to the West, or about the West, how they see the West, of which they extend that mindset on Biafrans who travel abroad, and then begin to see themselves, I'm looking at those ones now who see themselves less than what they think they are in relation to what the world view has about them. Now, how would any Biafran who have been battered by the concept of colonial subjugation be able to break the chain of restriction so that they can view themselves the way they are and maximally use the gifting that they carry for the best towards the new Biafra we're looking up to achieving?
Thank you. That's a great question. I mean, The answer is simple, but people might think it's complicated. And the answer comes
So
from...
before you go on the answer, let me play this particular video, because this video actually amused me, you know, because it tells the chain of, you know, it gives an analysis of a chain of a behavior among people. And I want to bring it down. I want to narrow it to Biafrans now, because basically we're looking at Biafrans here. I'm going to play this particular video so that our people can actually get the details. I'll play it twice so that they can get the details very well. Please, everyone, listen to this video very well before our guest will come in. He has a limited time. So listen to this video very, very well. I'm going to play it twice so that you can get, you know, faith comes by hearing, and hearing, and when you keep hearing the word, and then the faith comes. So you're going to hear it 2 times, and then you're going to get the details of this particular video. Very, very important. Listen to it.
A corrupt people cannot trust their own society. Globally, corruption is the norm. I was surprised that some cultures had found a cure. My first experience of a culture of trust was in Holland. My host took me to a dairy to buy milk. I'd never heard of machines milking cows. No one was selling the milk. My friend just opened the tap, filled his jug. Then he grabbed a bowl filled with cash, paid in 20 guilders note, took the change, and started walking away with his milk. I was stunned. I said, man, if you were an Indian, you would take the milk and the money. He laughed. In a flash, I understood a basic cause of my nation's poverty. If customers took the milk and the money, the dairy owner would have to hire a sales girl. But if the consumer is corrupt, why would the supplier be honest? He would add water to increase the quantity of milk. Frustrated by watered down milk, the consumer would ask the government to appoint milk inspectors. But why should the inspector be honest? He would take bribes and allow adulterated milk to be sold. The consumer will have to bear the cost of the milk, the water, sales girl, the inspector, and the bribe, none of which add any value to the milk. In paying for them, the consumer pays simply for his sin. Paying for all this means that you don't have money left to buy products that actually add value, such as milk turned into ice cream or cheese. How did Holland create a culture of such integrity? Transforming a nation requires cultivating character. That is why God gave us the scriptures. Apostle Paul wrote, all scripture is given by God's inspiration and is profitable for correction and instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. Poverty does not cause corruption. Corruption causes poverty. To combat both, our nations need more than aid, investment, or protests. They need hearts and minds that are transformed by God's word. A corrupt people cannot trust their own society. Globally, corruption is the norm. I was surprised that some cultures had found a cure. My first experience of a culture of trust was in Holland. My host took me to a dairy to buy milk. I'd never heard of machines milking cows. No one was selling the milk. My friend just opened the tap, filled his jug. Then he grabbed a bowl filled with cash, paid in 20 guilders note, took the change, and started walking away with his milk. I was stunned. I said, man, if you were an Indian, you would take the milk and the money. He laughed. In a flash, I understood a basic cause of my nation's poverty. If customers took the milk and the money, the dairy owner would have to hire a sales girl. But if the consumer is corrupt, why would the supplier be honest? He would add water to increase the quantity of milk. Frustrated by watered down milk, the consumer would ask the government to appoint milk inspectors. But why should the inspector be honest? He would take bribes and allow adulterated milk to be sold. The consumer will have to bear the cost of the milk, the water, sales girl, the inspector, and the bribe, none of which add any value to the milk. In paying for them, the consumer pays simply for his sin. Paying for all this means that you don't have money left to buy products that actually add value, such as milk turned into ice cream or cheese. How did Holland create a culture of such integrity? Transforming a nation requires cultivating character. That is why God gave us the scriptures. Apostle Paul wrote, "All scripture is given by God's inspiration and is profitable for correction and instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work." Poverty does not cause corruption. Corruption causes poverty. To combat both, our nations need more than aid, investment, or protests. They need hearts and minds that are transformed by God's word and spirit.
Welcome back, everyone. What a very interesting video. Brief, but interesting. Biafrans have to break the chain and plunge into reality to change Biafra land. Please, sir, take it up from there.
You know, I'm so glad to read what is on the screen. It says truth can never, ever fail or lead one astray. Let me just, because even as I was watching that, what was coming into my mind is the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth. You know, each time we talk about the truth, people don't know that the truth actually represents God. The truth means God. The truth means Christ. That's what the truth means. And that is why, the more I think about it, the more my mind is going into so many things. But let me tell everybody what they need to know now. And that's why we must dedicate a program to examining the world. What was the world like? How did things come about? Because
we
you
have
see,
a program on Sundays. Actually, on Sundays, that's when we deal in all those matters.
You might need to invite me in one of those. Yes, if I have time, I will latch onto it. Now, you see. Let me review. Let me say something now. I don't know. To some people, it will be the first time they're hearing. To some people, they must have heard me say it before. The problem is that we were sold lies. And that's why we must find the truth. We must deal with the truth. We were sold lies. We were actually, and Satan had been doing this all the time. Satan is making us to use our eyes only. And we don't know that our eyes can't see. When I tell people that human beings are actually born blind, physically blind, I mean, some people think it's a joke. But when I analyze it now with you, you will agree with me. Okay, let me ask you, and I'm asking all our audience, do you think human beings can see? Oh, no. Do you think human beings actually have sight? Give me your answer. Give me an honest answer.
Yes, human beings have sight. Human beings have sight in the context of the physical.
I would say no.
But okay.
That is where debate comes in, and then people win. People, when we were in debating school in those days, I always go to the hard part, where people would think, I'm talking rubbish, until I bring out the facts they never knew. Now, let me now tell you and the audience that we are born blind and we remain blind.
Yes, we are born blind.
We are born blind and we remain blind.
Okay, let's get the question.
Yeah, we remain blind until we die. We don't see. We have no sight.
We want to get that perspective.
I'm coming. What we have is assisted sight.
Okay.
Our sight, okay?
Yes.
It's assisted. It's assisted by natural light or man-made light.
That's true.
And even in that assisted sight, yeah, we are still partially sighted. We are not seeing everything. We are still blind. We are still partially sighted. I'm going to illustrate these things to you now. And I urge you and the audience to carry out this simple experiment so they can prove me right. Okay? I don't want to be proven right just by theory. I want to be proven right in practice. So you go and check out what I'm telling you, because we want to promote the truth. We want to get hold of the truth so that liars and their lies can vanish, because the truth is light. When it casts on darkness, darkness vanishes. That's what we are trying to do. Now, I'm asking everybody to carry out a simple experiment tonight. Well, whenever it is dark, that means the supply of natural light have been withdrawn. Now I want you to go into a room and deny yourself the supply of man-made light. Once you do that, I need you to go and find whatever you choose. Okay? Go and find it and see whether you will find it. And I don't care how white that thing is, even if it's white. So in the dark, when you have been denied the supply of natural light, go into a room and deny yourself the supply of man-made light. Then locate and pinpoint where the item you want to find is. And make sure you are seeing that item as you're picking it up. By the time you carry out this experiment, then let's have a discussion as to how much you can see.
So we actually see through an assisted means.
What we have is assisted sight. We have no sight at all.
Very correct.
That is why animals react even before us. We start inquiring when we hear the dog barking, because we can't see. Even our hearing is also impaired. Now, I want to also prove to you that even with the assisted sight we have, we still remain partially sighted. I want to show you and reveal to you why human beings are mad on this earth, because they don't know that the power of the truth resides in their minds. And this is why the human component must be activated and nurtured. Because if it is not nurtured, you can't control what you're seeing. You can't read meanings from what you're seeing. What you're seeing is partial. What you're seeing is fake. What you're seeing is not real. You're deceived by what you see. I hope you're getting the gist.
Very well. Very well.
Now, I want also for people to carry out this experiment so they can also get to know when I say that. That's why I tell you what we are going to bring to Biafra is just God's glory will come down on earth.
Yes.
You see, I now want to prove to you that we are partially sighted, even with the assisted sight. I need everybody to carry out this simple experiment, because if the truth does not speak to you, then don't take it to be the truth. I want everybody to have experience of the truth so they can relate to what is being spoken about. Your next assignment is to go and just to prove that you are partially sighted, even with the assisted sight. I need you to choose a particular room in your house, even if you have one room. Go to your table or bring out a desk or whatever. Make sure you wipe it all clean. Wipe it clean. If you can, make sure you lock up all the rooms, all the doors, lock up the windows. Make sure everything is locked. And then I would like you to come back to that room after, let's give you 4 or 5 days. You know, you wiped a table clean there. I want you to look at that table and see whether it is still clean or it is the way you have left it. You will experience something. What you will experience is that the table will still appear clean, or the desk will still appear clean. It will, because your eyesight is impaired, it's partial, you can't see anything. Now I want you to put your hand on the surface of the table and run through it. Bring your hand closer to your eyes and see whether you see particles or not. And then ask yourself why your eyes could not pick up those particles. Then you would know that even as we are seated here, there are millions of particles falling before us, but our eyes can't pick them up. This is how partial our sight is, in spite of the assisted sight we have. Assisted by sunlight given to us by God, or man-made light given to us by bulbs. Are you now clear?
Very well.
Do you agree with me?
Very well, as much as.
Did I win the debate or not?
Yes, that's we're looking at the physical sites now. You know, we're talking about
don't mind me. I'm only teasing you. There are no winners and losers. We are all learning, all of us.
Yeah.
There is so much for us to learn. We'll keep learning from one another, and we're all gonna grow together. Trust me. Now, I hope I've managed to convince everybody about our limited, poor eyesight. And I want you to know that that is what those who are telling you that they are your leaders are propelled by, this physical eyesight. I want you to know that. And that's why from what they can see, they can kill. They kill you based on what they're seeing, because their minds are not developed. They don't know that even killing you will deprive them, because there are things in you that will benefit them. Their eyes can't interpret it. Their eyes can't see it. And their minds are dark and blind and unactivated to understand it in order to instruct their eyes properly. Remember, all this madness going on are coming from that fact that we don't quite know who we are. We believe that we are animals, because when you get to know who you are, yes, you will understand what money is about, how it came about, what it represents. You will understand what crude oil is about, how it came about, what it represents, who made it, who gave it value, who gave it the name. You will understand all these things. You will understand how we came into this world empty-handed, how we came in this world, and when we came, there were no alphabets. There were no schools. There was nothing called crude oil. There was nothing called money. There was nothing called all these nonsense. Nothing, none of them was here. By the time you understand all these things, you will now understand the trappings of the devil, trying to confuse you with what your eyes can see. In fact, confuse you with what you offered to yourself, the things that you yourself fellow mortal being made. The money you are killing another human being for is something mortal beings made. We gave it the name it has. We gave it the value it has. But you're killing, oh God, by the time, look, we have to do a program examining the earth, examining what God did, examining how we came about, examining how we are different from animals and every other thing, examining what we and or how we introduced things into this world. Because without all these understanding, we will continue to kill based on what our sight can see. We will continue to value idiots that are the real Confucianists, that are the real animals, that are worse than animals. We will continue to worship them, not knowing that they are the ones that need salvation badly. They need to be saved. We'll continue to think, yeah. Did you hear that the president of France came? Oh, do you know? Oh, hey, let's go and take selfie with him. Oh, did you see how young he is? Oh, such a wonderful man. Hey, we'll disabuse our minds. Oh, the Pope is coming. Oh, we have to go. Oh, he's holy. He's consecrated by God. When and how? Where? Were you there? Do you really know what they represent? Do you know what it is they are doing to this world? Do you understand it? So we are going to disabuse the mind.
We would like to know the Sunday you will be available and the time so that we can fix it up and then we say
let's chat much later. Let's chat and then I'm going to give you a time I can do it. I would love to come. Because whatever that can bring the truth out, I'm happy to do. As far as God has given me what it takes to do that, and it's all glory to God. And it will always be in humility I do it, because who am I? We are all here on a journey. We are all here to do the bit God has given us to do. And we are going to account for everything God has given us. So trying to run away from your responsibility, you have to know that there is something called the sower. There is also something called the parable of the talents. If you decide to hide what God has put in you for whatever reason, remember you must account for it when the time comes. And you have nowhere else to account for it other than this world. Whatever job you have been assigned, meant for this world, you must deliver here on earth. You can't, for fear of anything, withhold these things, because then you're depriving yourself, depriving me, depriving the other person, depriving humanity in general. So we're going to unleash the much truth that God has deposited in us as a privilege. We have to release them, because we are only here for a season. I feel sorry for those who do not count their days and those who think they are here to live forever. I can only feel sorry for you. That's why I was feeling sorry for Mark Zuckerberg, who was talking about the future as if he owns it. And I was telling him to be careful, because no one is promised tomorrow. Tomorrow is not a guarantee. So to think you own the future, you're only revealing how insane and how sick you are. And that is the fact. The fact does not insult anyone. The fact is just the fact. And we must be bold in unleashing the facts and the truth, the much we have, because we can't have all the truths. The truth, we all have aspects of the truth living in us. All we're asking is that everybody should declare the truth in them and not hide it. All of us are carrying aspects of the truth. So why are you hiding your own? Is it because you're waiting for somebody to reward you with something? Because if you revealed your own truth, they would deny you of what they're going to give you. So you are attracted by what your limited eyesight can see, because your human mind is not yet developed, activated, and properly nurtured. Biafra is coming for a very critical reason for humanity. And here we go. I don't know if I have dealt with what you've asked, but I just was led in my own spirit to get on with it.
You've done justice to every question. In fact, we actually don't have the time. Next week, recreating Biafra, we're going to be looking at because Biafrans at home are gifted. The ones abroad are gifted as much as those ones at home are gifted. But some of those ones at home have been, their mindset have been beclouded, beclouded and enshrouded in, that error of low self-esteem and looking at themselves as lesser in value than every other. So they fail to maximize what they have, and they cannot utilize what they have.
Now, Kelechi, I want to test out your scholarly brain. What did I say is responsible for that?
Contentment? You're talking about contentment?
You're a scholar. Lack of contentment, which is a byproduct of a simple thing we need to understand. Lack of understanding of calling and purpose, which Nigeria automatically denies you anyway, denies you opportunity of reaching. So once you're born in that territory, you are almost cursed not to see your calling, and automatically you will lack in contentment. And once you lack in contentment, you become envious and jealous of those. You see, the sequence is there. It's so clear. It's sequential. Once the number one happens, the number two will occur, the number three will occur, and it's automatic. But I have to thank you, Kelechi. You're a brilliant scholar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next week, we're going to see how people are going to actually, grab or be able to get the ability to embrace that spirit of contentment so that they will be able to harness what they have next time on Thursday next week by recreating Biafra, because recreating Biafra is strictly for helping people harness their gifting, their abilities, and be able to spell it out to make sure that they utilize them for Biafra restoration and the nation of Biafra that is coming. Thank you so much, sir, for what you have done. You have spoken so much extensively. You have given us so many things, so many facts that we actually have to work with. I believe that our viewers, our audience, Biafrans out there all over the world have written down some things. They have penciled down some things. They have recorded some things that they would listen over and over again. If you have not done that, you can listen to this broadcast again, write out the points, because these things are basic. It must not be, sometimes we think that the only way we can begin to write things down is when we go to school and the teacher is teaching, they tell you take your notes.
Can I warn my Biafrans?
Okay.
What Kelechi is saying here and what he is doing here now, I can assure you, is bigger, better, and more important than your DBS you go to, than your prophets you're looking for, and they're trying to work out what will happen tomorrow. That is not what God has assigned us to do. We're not here to try and find out tomorrow. No. That once you start looking for a prophet to tell you what tomorrow holds, you're already on the wrong path. God gave us work to do. And what we need to do is to understand what that work is, because it is through that work God is going to give us our miracle. We want to do that work to the best of our ability for better tomorrow, whether with or without us. If we commit ourselves to the work God has assigned us, we will see results. We don't need to go searching for tomorrow. Those who search for tomorrow are those who are lazy, those who are wicked, those who want to see what they can do or what somebody else is going to do to them. You are now derailed and confused. You will never be able to do the work God has asked you to do if all you're doing is to go and search for what will happen tomorrow. So what Kelechi is telling you right now is more important than your religious madness going on, what they have derailed you with. It's more important than even the academic school you go to. Yeah? because most of the things they're teaching you there are lies. And I'm not joking. It's more important than anything else you're thinking about now. If you can pay attention to even what we have discussed today, you will be better for it. Trust me. And I want to thank you. And am I able to depart? If you
Thank
don't
you, sir.
mind.
You're able to. We thank you. We appreciate you so much. We love you so much.
I do
We want to
appreciate you.
we appreciate your effort and everything you do for Biafrans and the teachings you are given. Please,
Thank
Biafrans, go back and listen to this broadcast. And every Thursday and Monday, listen to the broadcast he has been, the teachings he has been making. You will learn a lot, and make sure you pencil down things and put them into practice. It's going to be very beneficial as you enter into Biafra. Thank you, sir. Your final words before you leave.
Thank you, Kelechi, for this awesome work you're doing on a daily basis. I don't know how you do it, but I do know that because it is your calling, God will provide all you need to be doing what you're doing. That is just how it works, because it's your calling.
Yes,
I want to thank you all, fellow Biafrans. The journey may seem too long, but the journey and every journey that has a beginning will always have an ending. So we are nearing the mark. So I want to thank you, fellow Biafrans, and ask you to continue in whatever way God is using you. Do that God plans in your heart to do for the actualization of Biafra, and also be prepared to take the central instruction from those who are in charge of our collective mission, and ensure that you play your part once it is a collective mission. That way, we will see Biafra. You would sleep one day in Nigeria and wake up the other day in Biafra. In the name of Chukwu Okike, our Maker, our Creator, in Jesus' name, Amen. Amen. Goodbye for now. Goodbye. Okay, bye-bye.
We love you. Thank you so much.
We love you too. We love you too.
Thank you for everything you've done and what you have said to us today. Great teaching, great teaching, great teaching. I can't just imagine. I can just imagine this. It came up from says, "Sir, don't go far from us. We need you from here more than you can think of." Yes, he's here. He has to do some things today, but he will be here again on Monday. He'll be here on Monday, 1 p.m. Biafra time on Mind Surgery Show. He's going to be here on Mind Surgery Show, 1 p.m. Biafra time. Every Monday, we have the Mind Surgery Show. He's always here on Mondays. He's always here on Thursdays, Recreating Biafra program. And of course, one of these Sundays, he's going to be coming to talk to us how the world, about the world and everything that is in it. Thank you all, Biafrans, for your time, for everything. We really appreciate you at all times. Please take these teachings very, very, very seriously and make sure you write down things, pencil them down, because most times you might have time to go back to begin to look at the video or watching the video, but the things you pencil down will help you to actually analyze and think deeper. Because when you take things down and then you go back to look at them and you begin to meditate on them, it begins to open your mind more. And let me tell you something about wisdom and intelligence. Building your mental ability, you can build it 100% when you receive an information at a particular time and you understand it at that particular time. That is why you see information is key. At a particular time you receive an information, you increase your capacity, mental capacity by 100%. And the more you keep taking in more information, the more 100% at that particular time, at every particular time, you get this 100% increase. That is why you must understand these things. Basically, what you talked about today is being contented, contentment, having the spirit of contentment, and every other thing that he has taught today. Don't forget them. They are very basic, very, very basic. I'm going to begin to read messages now so that I can react to your messages. And please, if you want to say something, you want to call in now, you can call in. The number is on the screen. You can look at the number as you see the writings flow. You see the number there. You just take that number, you call. And the number, anyways, let me put it again. Let me call out the number. +212 707 898 194. +212 707 898-194. I'll call it one more time, +292-707-898-194. I want to thank you all. I'll just in the next 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to be off. We're going to be off this for today. We have already done justice for today. I want to thank you all. Aubrey's dishes, he said, Mazi Kelechi, yeah, Mazi Kelechi is Biafran time, same as London time. Yes, yes, now Biafra time is same as London time, because London time now is about it's about it should be 2:46 now, and all of course, and London, of course, London time is I think Biafra time is 1 hour ahead of London time. But if you talk about Eastern time, generally you talk about the same time with Biafra time as now. But for London, I think it's just 1 hour. Biafra time is 1 hour ahead, and so I think that's what it is. 1:45 now in London. Yes, you're correct. 1:47 right now in London. So London time is the same, and it's not the same with Biafra time, but Eastern time, European, all of Europe, UK, and other parts of UK, the time is 1 hour ahead, of Biafra time. So you can check it out now. But for London, for London, it's 1 hour ahead of London. So that's it. Can't believe I missed the lecture. Oh, sorry about that. Please just always get that, so that you can't actually miss out anything, because I know you will always be here. Aubrey's dishes, I know you will always be here, because you take very important times like this, especially lectures like this that are very important. From an elder statesman, a veteran of Biafra. He's great. He's a great man. He's been giving out his time in the mornings like this. He's in the US. He takes out time to make sure he does this teaching before he goes for his business, or he does what he has to do for the day. London time has changed since last week. Yes, that's Eastern time anyways, but for London, it is still, for London particularly, it's still 1 hour ahead. Biafra time is still 1 hour ahead. But other parts of, it's now the same time with, Biafra time. London time is 1 hour behind Biafra time. Yes, London is 1 hour behind Biafra time. But every other part of Europe, I think, is 1 hour, ahead of Biafra. Every other part of Europe. So that's it. So thank you all. It's so wonderful to have you all to be part of this program. You can see that we have been able to look at, because we're looking at the mindset of an average Biafran who is at home, battered by the economy, battered by the Nigerian mentality, battered by everything, and yet we have to still maximally do what we have to do with Germany, the same time with Biafra. So that's what we're saying. So London time is 1 hour ahead and behind Biafra time, but Germany is 1 hour ahead of Biafra time. So all over Europe for now, I think for all over Europe is 1 hour ahead of Biafra. So that's it. Emmanuel Afure says that the lies make people struggle. That's why there's so much suffering in Africa, because Africa is built on lies, especially Nigeria. With truth, we can change things ever. The most desire that we all should have is to see how we can imbibe truth into our system. What we are missing is truth. Once truth is established, every other thing falls in place. That is why we have this fundamental problem. That is why Nigeria can never be, and will never be, because foundationally it is based on lies. At every point, it's based on lies. Even on at the point of the structure that is actually, there, it's based on lies. And so, if you put any structure and if on a foundational lie, you are going to actually have it crumble. So Nigeria has been a huge problem to us, and that is why we have decided to change it. On this platform, Biafra Global Network, we begin to correct all these anomalies. That is why I'm saying today, as we keep saying, share the video far and wide on all your social media platforms. Encourage people, the people you can even call and say, watch this video, so that they can get the message. When everybody begins to learn these fundamental things, you'll discover how swiftly we're going to develop Biafra. You'll discover how things will change. So that is why we need to play our role wherever we are. Share the video. First, you like the video as you watch. Please like it, because the more you like it, the more it spreads, the more it helps to prompt your people to actually see it. Because your liking tells us and approves of what we have done, of the work we are doing. And as you share the video, at the same time, on all your social media platforms, the groups you belong to, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Telegram, or wherever you belong, Twitter, wherever you belong. Once you share it, you are helping other people to imbibe this truth and get into this realm of understanding. By the time we all begin to have an understanding, a particular mindset of what truth is, you will discover that these killings, these betrayals, all of these things will become minimal in our society. That is why you have to play your role in sharing and sending the information to people wherever they are found. Very, very important, very key. What we are doing here, as you heard our special guest, Prince Ezem said, it is fundamental to what we need foundationally for the building of Biafra. That is why we have segmented and perfected everything. In fact, on Saturdays, we're supposed to be having the general communication discussion and all of that. But on Saturdays also, as much as we have that general discussions, looking at things that have happened in the week, and of course, discussing matters that comes to our mind, we're going to also have it as day to display our veterans, those who have sacrificed initially, who fought Biafra war, those people who have been there, those people who fought Biafra war, those who have been there, those who have done lots of things, those who have been doing lots of things all over Biafra land, who have been there during the war, and those who have been doing great things, who are abroad and all of that. We're going to be having that day, Saturday. We're going to be interviewing them. We're going to be having their mindset, looking into their perspective of the war as a then and of the liberation we are going after now. We're going to be having all of this happening. So every Saturday, put it down. We're going to have it. And it's going to be veterans segment. We're going to be looking at veterans. We're going to be looking at veterans of war, veterans of science, veterans of politics, veterans of of technology, different fields, social veterans, and all of that. We're going to be looking at all of these so that we can have a balance, because we want to have every day setting a standard for each day and solving a particular problem from that standard we set for each day. So each day's topic deals with a particular concept or notion, so that we will be able to deal with matters generally. So get it in mind. Tomorrow is our Why Africa Day. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at another country in Africa. We're going to be having our guest in the house. We're going to have some guests. I'm expecting 2 guests. One already is going to be coming, and Fine Macho will be here as one. Then we're going to be having one other person I'm looking forward to. I'm going to have their consent and their reply today, if they're going to be in the program also. But we're going to be having guests tomorrow, so get yourself prepared, because we're going to be talking about Biafra and the fullness of what we need to do alongside Africa. So we're going to be looking at these things so that we can actually have a fundamental notion of what we do. So try to understand this. Tomorrow we're going to be having the Why Africa program. The Why Africa program is designed to actually give a perspective to the problem of Africa and see how we can propose solutions to the problems of Africa. And let me read comments. Lies make people struggle, from Afure Emmanuel. Lies make people struggle. If you have something in your mind that you want to say, you can write them and type them. I'm going to read them out here, especially things as meaningful as what I'm reading now. Lies make people struggle. That's why there's so much suffering in Africa, because Africa is built on lies, especially Nigeria. With truth, we can achieve things easier. Thank you so much for that, Emmanuel Afure. Emmanuel Afure, God bless you. Yeah, somebody is saying, Samuel Chuku saying to Emmanuel Afure, thank you. He's thanking him. I would definitely be sharing it. Love history, which the globalists have hidden from us. Yes, Aubrey's dishes. That is what they have hidden from us, and we have to begin to correct these anomalies. I thank you all for being part of this program, and I welcome you to say, share this video, like it, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Tomorrow I'm going to be here again live. Why Africa program. You're going to be hearing much about Africa, things happening in other African countries, and then we're going to be looking at solutions, how Africans can gain and tap into the anointing that is flowing in Biafra land, or with Biafrans and the spirit of Biafra, to actually correct the anomalies in their nation, and together we restore Africa, because that's our concentration and focus. Good evening, sir. Mazi, thank you, fine David. It seems you're just joining. We're gone far. Please watch the video from top. You'll get it. It's marvelous. It's wonderful. The things we have learned here is so marvelous and wonderful. Today is mind-blowing. Udo One Madu, God bless you. Thank you so much. Udo, okay, sorry. I said Udo. Sorry. Udo, thank you so much, my brother, Samuel Chuku. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you all. Please keep sharing, keep publicizing. This is Biafra Global Network. Subscribe to the channel. My name still is Kelechi Ambrose. very soon, as soon as we get Biafra, I'll change Ambrose and I'll make it a Biafra, all Biafra name. You know, that's what it's going to be. But for now, well, I still take the Ambrose to go with my name. Kelechi Ambrose is my name. I see you tomorrow. I love you all. Please share this video, like the video, circulate it, subscribe to this channel, you know, and God bless you really good wherever you are. And all we ask, give us Biafra, MNK restoration. Yes, that's what we ask, and that's what we're going to get. Thank you all. I love you all. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bless you real good.